Hello. Yes, I'm Tom. I'm really glad to be here. And yes, I'm going to plug another demand management company. I do believe that we've got a unique advantage here, and I do believe that we actually offer something a little bit different. So let's hope I can persuade you over the next 10 minutes. Now, I'm going to flash some numbers at you here. 400,000 megawatt hours of electricity use, 800,000 megawatt hours of thermal energy use. And what do they all mean? We've got some thermal energy use in the US. When you look at these numbers for long enough, you'll actually realise that thermal energy usage is a lot larger than electricity usage, not just in the UK or US, pretty much across the entire developed world. Secondly, if you start looking for trends, you realise that the growing proportion of our thermal energy demand is being moved onto the grid with the use of heat pumps, cooling technologies. Generally speaking, any modern gadget that actually provides you comfort uses electricity. In the old days, we're using different things, wood, for example. Nowadays, it's all moving into electricity. When you look at another trend, that you'll realise that actually the energy production is going down. Generally, we're decommissioning plants across Europe and the United Kingdom. We consider them not just inefficient, but quite bad in a sense. They use coal and all sorts of other things. Then you look on the other side to Germany, they're shutting down nuclear power plants. So the trend is down as our demand is up. So how can we fix it? Are renewables the answer? I mean, there's a very good example in Denmark. The guys have achieved the highest proportion of renewable energy generation per head of population. So what's happening there at the moment? That Sweden and Norway are busy pumping water uphill for free energy they get from Denmark, only to sell it with a hefty premium a few hours later once the demand kicks in. So possibly not. It's a very expensive model, and it does not satisfy the actual demand. So when you've got an issue, you normally have an opportunity. If you can resolve that somehow, then you're onto a winner. So if you want to talk about market opportunity here, Park Research recently published that the market for energy management and energy storage, whether that's hardware or software related, will hit about $500 billion by 2020. Well, these are some really big numbers. So what is this unique device that we offer? We've developed hardware that transforms buildings into dynamic and intelligent sources of energy. The way we do it, we can actually store and release comfort independently from the electricity use. And this is one of the problems that was flagged earlier on. We're building all this plant for peak power demand. If we could just remove our demand at that peak time and plug it into the grid a few hours later, we'd be able to avoid construction of pretty much 50% of our generation capacity. So, again, yes, virtual power plants, you'll probably hear that a lot. We aim to achieve that, but actually removing the demand from the grid, and it's a huge demand, and plugging it in when there's actually no demand from elsewhere, like industry and so on. So in a sense, we're transforming a liability into an asset, which we think is quite unique. How do we intend to make money? Well, initially, sales of hardware. We intend to produce a lot of thermal accumulators, sell it initially to supermarkets and food processing, generally speaking, thermal energy-heavy consumers. Once we hit £60 per kilowatt hour, or sort of 80 euros per kilowatt hour, we're actually cost neutral for our client base, because they will offset the expenditure for resilience kit, and we can plug thermal accumulators there. But the biggest possible gain is later on, when you actually lease the kit to people and you play the grid. And you can see on that graph there the huge fluctuations of prices during the day on the grid could actually allow you to make significant profits. But obviously you can do that once you've got massive manufacturing capability, once you actually roll out the kit across the industry, and once you've been around for long enough for people to actually trust you. So what have we done so far? We've spent about £1.5 million on various demonstrators across commercial and domestic sector. We've done both heating energy storage and cooling energy storage. And what we've witnessed is not only we can shift the load successfully, we can actually reduce the energy use associated with that particular load by up to 50%. Whether that's commercial cooling, we can provide all the cooling energy that you need at a much lower energy demand and at the time of your choosing, which is quite unique. At the moment, we're working with Imperial College London and Climatherm, which is a leading HVAC provider in the UK, on a virtual power plant scheme where we actually aggregate thermal energy demand from a number of homes and can construct a community heating plant with a difference. And in the future, we intend to roll out the Thenergy model where we can effectively supply comfort to our clients, charge them for that comfort, and then generate that comfort as we like it, when we like it, utilising capacity payments, utilising load shifting and all sorts of other things. Now, competition. Do not underestimate the Duracell Bunny. That's number one thing. We've got loads of battery producers, and generally you can divide that into energy storage competition. The problem with batteries and so on is they cost a lot of money and they last so many numbers of cycles. On the other hand, you could say that the other competition is energy profligacy. Let's just produce more, and that gives you the usual fossil fuel industry and nuclear. So what's the secret weapon? We've got an award-winning team with large industry experience. We've got a number of patents, and there'll be more going in. We've got a full product pipeline spanning a number of applications, and we are capable of developing products continuously, so we're always ahead of the game. That's very quickly our team. We've got about 20 awards between us, including the Inventor of the Year 2011 by Autodesk, and a number of other energy and built environment awards. Financials, and you can see as you scale up, the costs go down, and the model makes perfect sense. More than happy to talk in detail with you later. And what do we need? We need about 4 million. I believe we can get nearly half of it from public sector as soft money. So technically speaking, we require up to 3 million euros in 3 rounds. Number one, we need to get past the proof of concept. We need to launch a commercial project. And then we need working capital. So, within 5 years, we expect the company to hit about £150 million, or 185 million euros valuation, and normally a trade exit into an acquisition-heavy industry. Thank you very much for listening.
Questions? Questions, anybody? Tom, just...
Do you actually do the thermal storage? Is it a phase change method, or is it a new type of thermal storage?
We're using a number of different phase change materials, correct. The secret is not about the phase change materials, because you've got about 20,000 of them accessible to you across the spectrum. The secret is in the kit. We actually make it work, and we make it last, and we make it infinitely maintainable, which overcomes a number of issues with phase change materials that people have tried to overcome for some years now.
Go ahead, please, last question.
Just wanted to understand, you mentioned 800,000 kilowatt hour on a slide and 400,000. Can you explain that on the second slide? Just a little bit.
Yes, number one is it's actually 800,000 megawatt hours. This is a total UK electricity use per year. So that's the 400,000. And when you look at 800,000 megawatt hours per year, is the total thermal energy use. So the example is that actually the elephant in the room is our thermal energy use, and we're shifting it onto the grid behind the scenes with heat pumps and everything else. We completely underestimate the actual size of it.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Appreciate it.